and welcome to Craftiosity, the subscription box of modern craft kits. This month's project is all about cutting, painting and stacking your way to create cork notice boards inspired by topography and the geographic structure of maps. With this one you can follow our template, or you can create your own version using a landscape or map that means something special to you. Inside your kit you'll find your PVA glue, a paintbrush, your watercolour paints, your wall hanging stickers, your template, your cork bases and your cork boards. You'll also find your step-by-step photo instructions and a little something for your pinboard. Identify the two thicker cork boards, we'll call these base A and base B. The other four thinner boards will be what we cut our shapes from, and we'll call these board 1, board 2, board 3 and board 4. Then cut the template in half along the red wavy line. Place the top left half of the template to one side and hold on to the bottom right half. Place the bottom half of the template on board 1, lining up the dark grey edge with the bottom of the board. Trace along the red line with pencil onto the cork board. Using scissors, cut along the pencil line you just traced onto the cork board, which will cut the cork board into two pieces. Place the top part of board 1 on base A, lining up with the top of the base. Place the bottom part of board 1 on base B, lining up with the bottom of the base. Next, cut along the orange line on the bottom half of the paper template, discarding the wiggly part cut away in between the red and the orange lines. Place the bottom half of the paper template on board 2, lining up with the bottom of the board. Trace along the orange line using a pencil. Cut along the traced pencil line using scissors. Place the top half of board 2 on base A underneath the previous cutout piece, building up layers. Then place the bottom half of board 2 on base B on top of the previous cutout piece, building up the layers. Return to the top half of the paper template and cut along the yellow line, discarding the wiggly cutout. Place the template on board 3, lining up with the top of the board. Trace along the yellow line with a pencil. Cut along the traced pencil line. Place the top half of board 3 onto base B, lining up with the top left of board B. The bottom half of board 3 should be put to the side. We'll use this later for a different part of the template. Return to the top half of the template and cut along the green line. You can discard the wiggly cutout again. Place the top half of the template on board 4, lining up with the top of the board. Trace along the green line with a pencil. Then cut along the traced green line. Place the top half of board 4 on base B, lining up with the top left of base B. The bottom half of board 4 should be put to the side. We'll use this later for a different part of the template again. Return to the bottom half of the template and cut out along the pale blue line, discarding the wiggly cutout. Place the bottom half of the paper template on the remaining part of board 3, lining up with the corners. Trace along the pale blue line with a pencil, then cut along the traced line. Place the piece you just cut out on top of base B, lining up with the bottom right corner. Return to the top half of the paper template and cut out the indigo, violet and pink shapes. Place them on the remaining part of board 4, lining the indigo and violet shapes up against the corner and top edge respectively. Trace around all 3 shapes with a pencil and then cut them out. Place them to the side for now. Flip the 2 boards on base A to sit top right. Then stack the indigo, violet and pink shapes just cut out in the bottom left of board A, lining the indigo shape up with the corner. Save any large pieces of scrap cork to one side for now. Now all the layers are cut and stacked, we can prepare the cork for painting. Making sure all layers are lined up neatly in their final position, trace around all the layers to create a pencil line around each shape. This will be your guide when painting. Prepare your surface for painting by bringing in some scrap paper to paint onto, the brush and paints, and a jar of clean water to wash your brush, and some lids or similar to mix your paints. Choose 2 colours to be your main colours, such as the blue and ochre, the 2 that we'll show here. Squeeze 3 pea-sized blobs of blue onto your mixing surface. Add a squeeze of black, around 1/4 the size of the blue blob, onto the top of the blue. Leave the middle blue as it is. Add a pea-sized blob of white paint, the same size as the blue, to the bottom blob of blue. Repeat this process with the ochre, but use brown instead of black to create the darker shade. Mix each of these pairings to give dark, mid and light blue and ochre. Use the scrap leftover cork to test your colours first and experiment with how the colours look when you add a little water to wash them out. Choose 1 colour group for the boards on each base, such as blues for base A and ochre for base B. Unstack the cut-out layers on base B. Using a little water and your brush to help with the coverage of the paint and to spread it evenly, paint the darkest colour on the base. Use the pencil lines as your guide and aim to paint just outside of the lines, as these will later be covered by the boards. Paint the 2 pieces of the next layer of base B in the middle hue of the colour group. Then paint the next layer pieces of board B in the lightest colour, leaving the 2 pieces that will sit on top of the notice board unpainted. Repeat this process for base A, starting with the lightest colour on the base this time. Paint the next 2 pieces of the layer up in the middle colour, then paint the 1 small piece layer in the darkest colour, leaving the 2 topmost pieces unpainted. Leave the boards to dry for 1 to 2 hours until they're dry to the touch. We'll now glue your boards together. Separate out the layers and liberally apply glue to the unpainted areas on all but the topmost boards. Don't squeeze out the glue right up to the edge because it may seep out when you apply the layers. Instead, place around 1 centimetre in from the edge. Then paint the glue out to the edge with your paintbrush. Place the layers on each board, gluing 1 by 1 until you have built up to the final layout. Place each cork notice board under a heavy book to dry overnight or for around 12 hours. Finally, decide in which orientation and arrangement you'd like your boards to hang and peel off the sticker from the sticker hangers. Apply using pressure on the reverse. And well done, your cork notice boards are complete. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and we look forward to welcoming you to the next craft kit next month.